Sound Healing Sundays, everybody. We've had some exciting movement in astrology, and so I know I wanted to mention the Lionsgate portal, which again is the energy of manifestation. I know a lot of people have been talking about that manifesting energy, bringing into their intentions, bringing their intentions into light. And so you also have the full moon in Aquarius, which we were talking about the energy of release. And with those two energies together, I think about what energy do you need to release? What mental story do you need to release in order to manifest what it is that you are trying to manifest, what it is that you desire? Because sometimes our ideologies, our mental blocks are the thing that prevents us from making that next step, from taking that next step, or stepping into that power. And so I want you to think about, what is that negative narrative that you are telling yourself that you feel is preventing you from stepping into that next energy, into manifesting what it is that you desire? And when you think about it, what I really want you to journal, for one, there's two things. So I want you to have two separate pieces of paper here. I want you to write down, what is that negative thought? What is that negative narrative? What is that story that you're telling yourself that is preventing you from taking that next step, that is preventing you from making that decision or taking that leap of faith? And then on that next piece of paper, which is our journal entry for today, I really want you to process and think about, where did that story form? How was it created? Was it your parents? Was it some of the things that you were told growing up by teachers, faculty, friends, peers? Were you bullied? Did you have issues in school? Did you have issues in relationships? What is this negative story that you're telling yourself, this limiting belief? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not funny enough. I'm not worth enough. I hear that a lot, worthiness. And it's interesting because as a friend, right, you hear a lot of people, what advice would you give your friend? And you see the light and love in your friends, and you hype them up and you encourage them and you lift them up, but you don't see the same value in yourself. And so where do you get that narrative, that belief that you are not as valuable as the next person? What is preventing you from stepping into that power and that realization that you are just as powerful, that you are just as meaningful, and that your power just has just as much intention as the next person if you have faith behind it? So I want you to think, where did you get this limiting belief, this story, this narrative? Where did it originate? Think about, where did you get this limiting belief from? And I want you to process that in your journal. I know that's probably a pretty heavy one, but I'll give you about 5 to 8 minutes to really think about, what is that limiting belief? I want you to write that on a separate piece of paper. And then in your journal, I want you to process, where did that limiting belief originate? Now with the piece of paper, you can dispose of it at your will, right? I'm not going to make this very ritualistic. This can be very therapeutic, cathartic. You can dispose of it however you would like, right? You can fold it up into itty bitty tiny little piece of paper and make it very small, right? And that's how much power you can give it. You can make it very small. You can tear it up into tiny bits of piece of paper. You can release that energy and that anger and frustration at the same time. You can do a fire ceremony and burn it and release it physically into the air, into the atmosphere, and give that energy back into the earth. You can toss it in the trash and give it no meaning whatsoever, and just dispose of it. So you have options, but I want you to think about how you want to release that energy, release that negative belief, that limiting belief system, and however you choose to dispose of it, that is up to you at your free will. But I'll let you go ahead and finish your journal entry, and then I'll get back with you in a few minutes. journal entry. The first part of the journal entry is just a simple, what is a limiting belief that you want to release, that you want to let go of, that you feel like is preventing you from manifesting what it is that you desire. Like I said, we just had the full moon in Aquarius, which is the energy of releasing. And we also have the Lionsgate portal, which is the energy of manifesting. So put that together. What do we need to release in order to manifest? And so on that one piece of paper, what are you trying to release? And then on your journal, where did that limiting belief originate? Where did that core belief start? And how did you internalize that belief? Was it something you were told? Were you bullied? Were there family or friends that just didn't speak life into you? Were your feelings invalidated? Were there situations where you just weren't valued? Just thinking, where did this idea come from? Where did this belief come from? And journal about it. Y'all like the shirt? I should sell the shirt, right? I balance my energy to protect my energy. So I'll go ahead and share mine because I've talked about this before, and I know it's like a very core value or core belief that I hold so very strongly that I know that I'm still working through, and it's my hyper independence. The limiting belief is this feeling that I have to do things alone, right? And how did that belief originate? Well, it originated because I didn't have stable, consistent, reliable adult figures, right? That reinforced this belief. And so this pattern manifested in my relationships where I sought the familiar, and I sought relationships that weren't positively reinforcing. And so that was my own kind of limiting belief that this was a pattern that I was just like drawn to, right? And so due to my own fears of my, going through those struggles and going through those emotional turmoils, you put a wall up, right? And so I continue to reinforce my own hyper independence by having this wall up. I said all that to say. And so despite knowing that I have reliable people in my life, despite knowing that I have healthy, stable relationships, and despite knowing that I would have to be vulnerable in order to not do it alone, because that would require stating what my needs are, I know that it's still a core value or core belief that I continue to struggle with. And so my peers know that as well. And so they know to check in like, girl, you need something? You got everything all right? Just let me know. And so I know to ask more now and to state things more now about, hey, I need help, or, I need support. So I hope that was a pretty good example, because again, if you want something to change, part of the change is you have to either change behavior, change perspective, change your environment. Something has to change. And so if there's something that feels stuck, what is that belief? What is that limiting system? What is that idea? And what needs to be moved? Even if it's you, what needs to be moved out of the way to remove that barrier? And maybe sometimes it's a limiting belief. Sometimes it's just how you look at things. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started with our sound bath. So if you want to go ahead and get comfortable, get seated. If you want to relax on your mat, on your yoga mat, we'll go ahead and get started. you can get up when you are ready. No rush. I do appreciate you being here. Again, if you want to join me on this Sunday, you can always join me. You can like, share, and subscribe. I'm here every Sunday at 8 p.m. For our Sound Bath Sundays live. I also play the replay back if you missed the live. You can also find that on my channel, and then you have Healing Not Healed every Thursday. Again, I appreciate you being here with me. The light that is within me sees the light that is within you. Namaste, and have a great week.